I remember like my boyfriend put me in the shower like all dressed because I was just didn't stop crying. My mother just didn't come back when she was supposed to.
And then her death, it's so horrible.
It's a cold case. It's a case that has periods of activity, and then there are periods of dormancy as well.
On Thursday, November 15th, 2001, at about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Louise Chaput pulls into the parking lot at Pinkham Notch. Chaput asked an AMC worker for directions to a short hike that would get her back before dusk.
The person there gave her the name of a hike to take, and then she turned and walked out the door, and that's the last time we know she was seen alive.
The 52-year-old psychologist from Sherbrooke, Quebec, loved the outdoors and was particularly fond of the Mount Washington Valley.
She thought it was beautiful. She liked it. She liked to hike, and maybe it was a little exotic as it was another country, another language.
She was a very athletic, outgoing person who often went on hikes by herself, and she decided to drive down from Canada to go to the White Mountains and do a hike by herself.
She was generally active. She used to say, you have to earn your dinner. You have to do something, which is a good philosophy, do something. A lot of time, something physical, go out for a walk, climb a mountain.
That's why when she got there, she went to the main lodge and asked where could I go before supper.
She was supposed to go with different friends, including Marie and some other friends from Sherbrooke. But because of the weather and it was getting cold, everybody copped out. She was the type of person who would say, well, I will go and I'll show you that I had a good time.
When Chaput failed to return home the following Monday, friends and family called police.
We start to make some phone calls, and then we cannot find her.
So we all went down to the lodge to Gorham. Actually, I went with Corinne, the eldest, and her boyfriend, and one of Pierre's sister. And the next day, we looked for Louise.
And then they find his car, but she wasn't there. So that was the scary part.
It wasn't long before authorities found Chaput's abandoned car. The larger of two backpacks was gone, but her hiking shoes were still inside.
I mean, if you were to surmise why that is, it's probably because she was going to do a very short, kind of a low-key hike. At that point, it was 3 p.m. in November, so obviously it would have got dark very early. Yeah. She was a very experienced hiker, so I'm sure that she knew it would be dark fairly soon, which is why she asked for that quick hike.
The car was parked at the Daratissima trailhead, across the street from the trail suggested at the visitor center. Police think someone stole the keys, but not the car.
Authorities also say that Chaput's sleeping bag and blue backpack with the Canadian insignia has also disappeared.
And the two things Chaput always took hiking, water and chocolate, were left behind in a smaller pack.
And I remember the dogs, the helicopter, like everything's like, I was feeling like I was in a film, because it's not usual that you look for your mother, and, and that was very unreal.
I remember that we walked in to where her body was, and it was quite a distance off the trail.
Well, dead was the main thing, but murdered was like,
yeah.
How can it be?
On Thursday, November 22nd, Thanksgiving Day, Chaput's body was found stabbed multiple times a short distance off the Glen Boulder Trail.
It's when you look for someone you love and you don't find her, and you finally find she was murdered. It's like, I don't know, I don't have words to say that.
What exactly happened on that trail and who killed Chaput remains a mystery.
I can just tell you that it was ruled a homicide.
Maybe a guy told her something she didn't like and she answered back, because she definitely didn't have her tongue in her pocket. So if someone would have said something that wasn't appropriate, she would answer back,
There are really only two possible explanations for this crime. The first is that it was premeditated, that the person wanted Chaput dead, probably followed her down from Canada to Pinkham Notch to commit the crime. The second is that it was random, that the killer saw his opportunity and took it.
So we don't ever typically name suspects or persons of interest. It's pretty rare that we do that. We have not done that in this case.
They never tell us everything they know because they have to keep some essential only for them.
Do you remember any evidence at the scene?
I do.
Can you tell us about it?
I can't.
Really, even now?
Even now. Yeah, it's important in any investigation, especially criminal investigations, for the investigators to have information that's only known to them. One is we want to be able to verify the truthfulness of any information that comes to us later on. The other thing is it's important not to taint witnesses. And so we don't want witnesses hearing information that's known to the investigation. We want them giving us information that we know they get firsthand. The other thing is that when we go to trial on a case, witnesses can be attacked based on their basis of knowledge, and we want to be able to show the jury that the witness knows it because they have firsthand knowledge, not because they picked it up from somebody else, from the media or social media.
It's not in our country. We're not far, but it's not our country. It's not our law. It's not our languages.
Police have virtually ruled out anyone who was close to Chaput.
Pierre was pretty devastated. Pierre was Louise's husband, Constance's father. But he didn't participate early on. I think it was too difficult for him to cross the border and come with us.
I remember him being so angry too because of the violence and the something that is definitely not deserved, as Louise probably died from someone she didn't know.
But he did collaborate quite a bit with the police. Remember one year, like he went across the border to give a DNA sample because the police did what
At the beginning,
they did everything. They used to suspect people, the husband, close relatives, but then they ruled them out one after the other.
Police also looked for a possible link to a similar murder on the Appalachian Trail, but that case was solved and the killer is behind bars.
We've been back a lot, but just to talk of our murderers.
First time we went, we printed some flyers and we went around all the towns around, and we asked people if we could put the flyers up. Most people, shopping centers, all remember the case. In fact, of course, it's a small community, so they all remember. They all felt really sorry for us, but we had a hope, I think at the time, because it's not that long after the murder, 2 years, that something would come up. I think the detectives too, but unfortunately nothing.
Yeah, it was one of the earliest cases that I worked on here in the office. Everybody involved in the case worked extremely hard, as they do on all these cases, to try to discover what happened. And over the years, I've kept in touch with some of the detectives who worked on the case, and we have talked about the case and run different ideas around and sometimes try things, and unfortunately we haven't got to the point we've been successful.
We understand that there are other cases and it's been 20 years, but still, new eyes on the case. Maybe a new detective can see something that people didn't pass by or didn't go through. So we were kind of disappointed to see that.
Just a sad feeling for me. It's a sad feeling.
Things can change, people can say something because alliance has changed, or they have they're fearing death. It's such a horrible secret to carry, and at some point people talk about it to someone. So if they have any information, and just for us to have closeness and to make sure it doesn't happen again.
I'm a mother now, and I have two wonderful daughters. They never know their grandmother, and that makes me very sad. You can imagine. And And when they ask me how their grandmother died, I don't have any answer to that. And I have some answer, but it's very tough. And one of my girls, she didn't know the exact details because it's horrible. And how you can tell this to your kids?
Well, they call it closure. That's a nice word in English. I'm not sure we have it in French. But maybe it would bring closure. I'm not sure. I don't want to hope for it too much. But it's to prevent it from happening again, that's for sure.